Alright. Everything should be good to go. Alright, and everything is working, so we're good. Alright, so this will be Minato versus Orochmaru. We're including part 1 and part 2, by the way. It's 4th Hokage Minato, and it's the Orochimaru that fought Hiruzen, basically. So it would obviously be like, you know, like the prime Orochimaru, no nerfs or any weird shit. And that's what's going on. So I will go first, unless for some weird reason you want to go first, like tremendously bad. I don't know. It's up to you. We didn't really talk that, so. Do you want me to go first, or are you going to go first? Did you leave again?
Oh, my bad. Sorry. I was making a ping. That works for me. You can go first. Thank you.
Alright, cool. Let me get this through real quick. Give me one moment. And get 2 scans.
Okay, before you guys start scaling and stuff, I'm just gonna let you know that I am going to be muted, but if you guys are cutting each other off or not letting each other finish, I'm just gonna mute. I'm not gonna say nothing or warn you. I'm just gonna mute y'all. Okay?
Yeah, that's fine. If take turns needs to happen, I don't care. It's been fun the whole time, so.
Yeah, y'all been good so far.
Alright, almost done. About to post it right now.
Hello there, Sigma.
Yeah, if nothing's going on, you guys can talk, by the way. That's fun, too.
Are you guys Ohio ski booties? Sigma, I'm Tokyo. Who's a wrestler with the most brain rot? What are you guys' favorite skibbity gatlets, perchance? Would you rather June in Ohio or Edge in Skibbityville? Come on, Sigmas. I don't Liz. Come on.
Or are you like on a crackhead episode?
Sigma, on the gat.
No, he's fine. No, we're not debating on anything, so.
Can I Phantom Text or Grimace Shake in Ohio like a skibooty? Pretty please? Come on, Sigma Pill. What do you guys think about Ohio? Skibbity Gatlet. Skibbity Gatlet. Skibbity Gatlet. Skibbity Gatlet. Bro, we not trying to hear the brain rot. I'm gonna mute you if you keep it up, bro. Please, no. Alright. Please don't mute me. Please. Just chill. Just chill in Ohio with your brain rot. You know, you cool. What about my guy at? I don't know about that. You sound like you're 13, bro. I don't know about you. Sigma. I don't know about your guy yet. Look. What? Just chill. Just chill. What?
Anyone joining, we're waiting on Batman because he's setting scans, just so you know.
Okay. Sigmas.
Yo, Bats.
Massive shotgun.
It's all good. You okay with me untiming out Jason so he can listen to the debate? I mean, I could time out and just have him muted. I mean, I could just mute him for you now. He just wants to listen, and I can time him out when it's done if you want. Okay. No, I figured. I'd ask you before I did anything.
Oh, what's up? What's up, y'all? Oh, so look at that stuff. Some of my notes on PC, but I have no fucking scans on PC. So I know of the scans I speak of, but now it's gonna be like chapter numbers, screen sharing, or someone in the VC could just help out with scans. Hopefully. I mean, now that we're considering using now that we're using the anime, like fuck it. At this point, I'll just screen share the anime, I suppose, if it's necessary. Thought that out there. Yeah, where are the scans? Okay, my bad. It's a fucking weird ass name. The which there's 4, so which two the oh come on, everybody post comparison. I know which of the 4 scans. Sorry. You want me to all no, which of the 4 do you want me to look at? Because you said 2. Do you want me to look at those 2 then? Showing coming out right now. What do you mean to imply when you show the first scan where Anko's saying, if only the fourth Hokage were still alive? Okay, so that is a shotgun. So we're gonna dismiss the second scan then for now. You can definitely bring it up right after, but just you can't immediately, hit me with both of them. So we're gonna look at the first point with the first scan, right? So all we're gathering from this is Anko saying, if only the fourth Hokage were still alive, and you're trying to argue that this means that it is the case that Minato would have been able to defeat Orochimaru, because Pearson's even questioning if he's capable of beating himself. So for this, one of the things we have to recognize is that this is a knowledge claim from a character. It's not just an outright author statement. So with this in mind comes a possibility that this is wrong. So there just exists a world in which this statement is untrue. Do you think that there's a logical contradiction towards there being a possibility, or it's just not the case? That's a shock. It can be correlation to the from being a shotgun. You can still shotgun somebody no matter how correlative your fucking shotgunning is. All of your shotgun can align to one another like dominoes, but that doesn't stop you from a multitude of dominoes. I already told you we can dismiss that temporarily virtue out of its function. We can just okay. Okay, well, I've already pointed out to you how that's still a shotgun, right? Like, do you have an issue with the notion that it being correlative doesn't absolve it from being a shotgun? You have a problem with that? Because if that's the case, then you'd still be shotgunning right now. I might have. That's going circular. Okay, well, I make no mistake. Would be the case. that in itself is a claim, and that's another shotgun because you're saying that this thing isn't the case. So X not being the case is a claim. So you're just further shotgunning me. I've already explained to you that it being correlative doesn't absolve it from being a shotgun. I haven't actually agreed to it being correlative. That's still going to be in question. But what I will tell you is that the second scan is another knowledge claim. So one knowledge claim and another knowledge claim doesn't really build any sort of consistency if I'm putting it in fucking question in the first place because I haven't agreed towards it being consistent. And only that, but I've already, dismissed it like 4 minutes ago by telling you that it's a shotgun. So we don't have to go over it at the moment. So all that you have to deal with and all that we have to work with is the first scan where it says if only the fourth Hokage were still here. I proposed to you a possible world where it just isn't true. All you had to say was that I would have to provide substantiation for my skepticism, and I would have to provide a lack of contradictions. Well, that's a claim. So can you go ahead and substantiate that claim and prove to me with evidence that it is the case that I have to do that? Because if not, then we could just drop that.
All right. So I'm just going to recap something for the recording because I didn't realize I was muted on my end. So basically what I've been arguing with this time is with the two scans that I have, which is with the Raikage statement. It was where he says there's no shinobi faster than me ever since the fourth Hokage died. So basically saying once he was around, he was the fastest, which would include the soning and everything. But once he died, now Raikage is saying he's the fastest, whatever, etc. That was with the first scan. And the second scan was of Anko, if only the fourth Hokage was still here. After when Hiruzen says there's no shinobi that's a threat to Orochmaru. And then she says that to his statement in direct correlation. Basically the premise that I'm arguing, and I'm just trying to basically just show a line of consistency and substantiate that, is Minato was always held to a higher pedestal as a high caliber ninja, to where the Sonic have been known like as mid Kage level people.
So
while I'm not done, mortified. While people like Minato, Itachi, Nagato, people like that are known as like higher level ninja, where they're like kind of like the high Kage level ninja. And there's other two scans to substantiate this notion as well. What he said in a response, he's saying that I'm basically shotgunning, and basically, like he doesn't like that I'm doing that. And he also says that he doesn't have to show any contradictions or any consistency or substantiating his skepticism, even though I have multiple panels that are showing blatant verbatim statements and evidence to show why my notion would be the case. He's just saying, oh, they could just be wrong. And I asked him, you would have to either substantiate that and show why it's wrong, whether if it's a contradiction or a line of consistency, however you want to present your line of evidence. And he's saying he does not have to do that. So if he does not have to do that, then I would just have stronger evidence, and my claim would be more than definitely the case, because I'm already providing a line of consistency and substantiating my claim. And I do have two other scans that I have not brought up yet, because I was trying to make sure I'm not giving too much information for him. So anyways, you have anything to say, Mortified? You would take that as a no? Luke, can you hear me?
Mort, if you're speaking, no one can hear you.
Yeah, and I'm not repeating that either, so I don't give a fuck.
Hold up, my bad. My connection's really bad. I gotta disconnect and reconnect. I couldn't hear the last thing that Batman was saying.
Yeah, that's fine. It's on recording, so.
Well, that's fine, but that doesn't change the fact that I wasn't aware of it. Like,
well, I said it before as well.
I'm just. You said it before, so you just repeated yourself. If you just repeated yourself, that works with me. But
it was to a certain. It was to a certain extent. What's it called? I did elaborate a little bit further, but. But I could say it in a very short consensus, so I just said I'm not repeating the whole fucking thing, though. Are you gone again, or what are we doing?
He's reconnecting, I think.
Oh. Yeah, Luke.
Audible now?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you much better.
All right, cool. So I'm not going to say the entire thing because that's not necessary. I'll just say the part that really matters, that contests what you said before. So basically what you were saying as a rebuttal is that I'm shotgunning and you don't like that or whatever. And then the other thing was because you're applying skepticism that she could just be wrong. But what I said as a refutation is that would only be the case and that she is wrong if you're able to substantiate that skepticism. So you would either have to show a contradiction or you would have to show a line of consistency, whether if it's in the narrative or however you want to present your argument or evidence. But if you don't have any substantiation or consistency or a contradiction to the evidence that I am literally showing, that is all in correlation to one premise and claim that I'm making, which is Minato being above the Sonning, and this is stated by several characters, Sonning, Raikage, Anko, Hiruzen himself, whatever you name it. So, like, again, unless you can provide other lines of evidence to contest the evidence that I'm presenting, I would have the stronger claims and my evidence would just be triumph, and that would be it, basically. So if you don't think you have to present, hang on, I'm not done. If you don't think if you don't think you don't have to present anything or whatever, but that's completely up to you, and we can keep moving forward with the other two scans. But that's basically what I said towards the end. So.
Okay, that's right. So for the first scan, right, I've already explained, just going over the Anko stuff. And I told him that the possible word exists or she's wrong. Right? We don't know it to be the case. That's the first possible thing. I don't want to shotgun you, but I have an alternative defeater as well, so I'll just keep it in my back pocket in case you want to question that. But just off rip, it just could just simply be wrong as a possibility, right? And you didn't interact with that by providing any sort of likelihood. And if it's the case that it's possible, then it would just be not triumphant, equivocal rather to any other possibility, because it's merely possibility. So we could look at it like a 50-50 equilibrium. The moment we create 55% or 60% or something like that, for example, we create probability, which you did not generate, and you're the one making the claim. So I'm just telling you, taking the counter stance, saying, well, this could be wrong, and you didn't really negate that. And then for the second scan, I put it like for the millionth time. It doesn't matter how correlative it is, or if you're trying to make a general proposition, this underlying idea about how the Sonning are below your character via X scaling. It doesn't fucking matter to me how correlative it is. It's still going to be a shotgun. And I'm telling you, it doesn't absolve you from shotgunning me. You're definitely still shotgunning me. I'm not telling you also with the shotgun that your scan can't be used. It literally just needs to be put on pause for a later time of the debate. Once that time's over, right, literally when the next point comes, you can make it the very next point. But you cannot, you know what I'm saying, in simultaneous, right off rip of each other, back-to-back scans, because that would be shotgunning me. You can, you know what I'm saying, I just want to clarify, you can use the scan, it's not absolved, or just, disappeared, but you cannot use it back-to-back, no matter how correlative it is. You're still shotgunning. So we need to just address the first point in regards to the first scan. Then we can move on to the Raikage scan, because we're supposed to do this one point at a time. Also, when you say, in response to my skepticism, I have to do X thing, that is a claim. You're claiming that there's a necessary thing that I, mortified, have to do, which is a claim. If I say Batman must be short, right, that's a claim. If I say Batman, in order to debate mortified, must prepare and gather 4 scans in specific, that's a claim. So if you're telling me that I have to do something, that's a claim. So you're literally just providing a burden for yourself instead of one for me. You realize that?
Right, cool. So your tracking issue is not my problem. What's it called? And there's a lot of red herring you just did. But either way, so what's it called? With the other 2 scans, which also just further substantiates the claim that I'm making. What's it called? Where it's Tsunade talking, and it's Jiraiya as well with Naruto. And basically they're talking about Naruto and then the Lord Fourth. And to where... yeah, they say, oh, come on, everybody. Everybody pales in comparison to the Fourth Lord. As a shinobi, his capacity was unparalleled, a true one of a kind. And he was overflowing with talent and jutsu and intelligence. He was socially popular and was quite a looker, just like me, whatever. And then she says, but even with all that going for him, he still died prematurely. So there is that statement, which is literally, basically 2 Sonning... Don't interrupt me. There's 2 Sonnings that are talking about Minato again and about his caliber and him as a shinobi with his power. And that's 2 Sonnings. So we already have the Raikage, who has spoken about Minato with what he thinks about his power and everything, you name it. 2 Sonning level people as well saying that, which this would obviously correlate to Orochmaru. We have Anko, who is a Jonin, and even Hiruzen who is also in the village that is also aware. And so, again, this is just further consistency. Multiple high caliber level ninja, just acknowledging that Minato is clearly above in that guy. And then the last scan was where he's fighting against Orochimaru and he's raising up the Edo coffin. And he says, I must prevent him from raising the third no matter what. He wasn't concerned about the second, Hokage or the first Hokage being raised or whatever. He was mainly concerned about Minato, which again just goes along a certain line of consistency within the narrative that Minato was a very powerful ninja and opponent. So, what do you have for that?
Okay, so you're just like, you're shotgunning the ever living shit out of me. I hope the judge is like aware of this. Like, oh my gosh, like he's still shotgunning me. It's never ending. So I'll just shotgun him back. So in response, these are all knowledge claims, and knowledge claims could A, be wrong, and B, be put into question in the sense of knowledge, because it presupposes that they are aware of the claim that they're making. How do we know that Anko knows anything about the fourth Hokage and Orochimaru? How do we know Jiraiya knows anything about Minato? How do we know that Tsunade knows anything? So besides us questioning what they know, we can also even question the validity of what they're saying. For all three of these shotguns, correlation to the third Hokage scaling, it all can be put into question.
Yeah,
and since you're the one making the assertion, I don't need to provide evidence towards my skepticism, because it simply could be wrong. Unless you have a problem with the logical possibility of it being wrong. Do you have a problem with the possibility of it being wrong? Or do you think that it's impossible for it to be?
Okay,
because
so
that's what you would have
he basically... so he basically repeated himself and still went circular. So again, just to recap, he's applying skepticism to the main claim that I'm presenting, but he also believes he doesn't have to substantiate his skepticism or show a contradiction or show why his skepticism would actually be the case, and so on and so forth, and more probable, etc.
Mm-hmm.
I provided multiple scans, all in collaboration, of one claim that I've made of Minato being above the Sannin, and narratively and consistency wise from not only Sannin themselves, the fourth Raikage, and a Jonin, Anko, and Hiruzen even as the Hokage, to where they all put him to that regard and power and scaling. And most importantly, he also asked how would we know if they knew him or whatever. So there's actually plenty of ways to know that, because I know you've read Naruto. I would hope you would know this, but just to remind you, the fourth Raikage has fought Minato. He's seen his level of power many times, actually. There's also data books that talks about Minato as well, which is Kishimoto the author, and narratively. And Jiraiya trained Minato. He is his master as well. So there's that too. And Tsunade literally knows about Minato because she's clearly talking about him, and they are also in the same village. So there's that as well. There's also information about ninja in the show. They literally actually have it on records. I don't know if you forgot about that too. So there's many tons and tons of evidence that I could easily present for why these characters would know Minato. I don't know why you put that into question. And even Orochimaru also knew about Minato because he literally tried to bring him back with Edo Tensei. And fun fact, I could also show that if you need me to. Orochimaru, one of the reasons why he got pissed and went rogue was because Minato was chosen as the Hokage and not him. So, and yeah, there's that too.
Please refrain from shotgun ever living shit.
Well, you can keep bitching about a shotgun or whatever. I'm just basically saying things that
have a problem with that.
All right, don't interrupt me. Don't interrupt me. So you can keep bitching about a shotgun and all this stuff, whatever. I'm just bringing up multiple reference points that has happened within the story, and basically things that would explain why these characters know Minato and why this line of evidence and verbatim statements would actually matter, again, to the main premise and claim that I made. Because you want it to be weird and just say, oh, how do we know these people know him? That's very, very weird, and you should know why these people know him. That's all I did. I just brought up multiple references. And I could easily, again, you're interrupting me. Again, you're interrupting me.
My bad, you talk forever.
I haven't interrupted you not once. So, again, what's it called? That's the only reason why I was doing it in the first place. and Orochmaru also knew about him as well, because again, he's trying to use fucking Edo Tensei to bring him back. And I just brought up another reference point. That was one of the reasons why he was even going to leave the, why he left the village and went rogue, because Minato was chosen as the Hokage. And there's a direct stated verbatim thing for that too. So, like, again, like, I don't understand what's so confusing. So,
so do you have a problem with the shotgun philosophy? That's like,
yeah,
a legitimate.
Okay, so
form of
I'll just say this. I'm just like, if you don't
the
have...
reason that we don't allow shotguns in debates generally is because it disallows for probable engagement of points sufficiently, right? You're put in a position where you're disadvantageously not going to be able to as easily interact with all of the points because of things like your memory, things like being bombarded and distracted and thrown off the rails. So you shouldn't...
Okay, so since you want to cut me off a million times, I'm going to cut you off and just make this very easy to talk and refute. So the reason why that doesn't even matter is because you can very well easily say, hey, can you re-clarify the points you just made or the references that you just made? Or you can be like, hey, can you say that thing first so I can hear you very clearly and understand what you just said, and then move on to the next. It's not very hard to be productive and cordial in a debate. Again, your tracking issues is not my problem, and that's not my concern. So if we need to go even more slower or maybe do certain things, whatever, I was just re-clarifying what I just said because you said something before to say, oh, that doesn't fucking matter or some shit, and I was saying why that does matter. So again, that was just me re-clarifying and presenting multiple reference points, and again, me refuting what you were arguing before because you decided to bring up a random stupid-ass claim that how do these characters would even know Minato. That's very fucking retarded. That's like some low-tier shit. So, again,
okay,
that's fine. I don't care if you think I'm talking too much. That's what happens when I have to debate a low-tier like you. So, anyways, I'm going to say this really quick.
You have a problem with it being a shotgun?
Yeah, so I'm going to say this really quick. Unless you're going to provide substantiation of your skepticism or show any contradictions or show why all this line of consistency and these verbatim scans of why they're meaningless and don't matter and so on and so forth, if you're not going to present anything, whether if it's additional scaling for Orochimaru or to show why this doesn't matter or however the fuck you're going to do it, because again, it's not my job to argue for you. And if you think you got this so far, then we can just leave it here and we can move on. That's it.
Okay, so one more thing just for the recording, right? So that people can understand. People are competent. Batman is the one who made the claim that I have to do X thing, not Mortify. So he's presupposing that this burden exists when in reality he's the one that placed the burden upon himself by saying X requirement exists. What a retard. He said, I have to do this thing. You have to provide substantiations for your skepticism. I already broke it down to him 15 minutes ago that in itself is a claim, saying that X necessary factor is a fucking claim. Because you're applying it.
All right. So this is just going circular, so we can conclude.
You would be burdening yourself.
We can conclude.
Hold on. I'm not. You're interrupting me. Hold on.
Yeah, you did it to me like 10 plus times. He said
that it's ratty. Okay, he said that it's ratty. That's fine. He said that it's ratty or silly or whatever he said about me questioning whether or not they know him, right? But even if I granted you that these characters know of Minato, that isn't necessarily correlative to the
okay, so you
proposition.
So
rather, you're
rather
you're just engaging with the argument. So the linguistic act is what you're engaging with, but not the underlying idea of what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say, but I know Minato, is not literally, hyper-literally know of him or be aware of his existence. No shit, all these characters are aware of his fucking existence. They're looking at a picture of his dead ass, obviously. So what I meant when we say know this person, we're talking about the strength that you're trying to correlate to the first game, right? You're saying, oh, Minato will be able to do this. And I'm saying, how would they know to gauge what Minato? Because the Hokage, the Minato that the Raikage fights, couldn't get that out, is possibly different than the Minato that Anko is referencing, and possibly different to the Minato that Jiraiya and Tsunade are aware. Because characters in Naruto, it's probabilistic that they fluctuate in strength progressively, and not only this, but it's also probabilistic that these characters knew Minato at different points in their life, or at different points in Minato's life. And since I'm not the one making the claim, and rather it's you, it wouldn't be on me. It'd be your burden to provide evidence as to why it would be the Minato that you're trying to correlate to.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
What's it called? So again, he still thinks he doesn't have to provide any forms of evidence or anything to substantiate why that, because like the only thing he basically argued was that the character could just be wrong, and therefore that's it. While I presented a line of consistency and multiple scans, basically literally substantiating one simple claim that I made of Minato being built different and the strongest ninja, especially in comparison to the Sonning. Which again, I showed that with the Raikage statement, with the Anko statement, and even with the Sonning statement, and even with Hirizen's statement as well in the other two scans. He says like even twice. So I provided tons of consistency narratively to have Minato within a certain scaling ballpark. He applied his baseless skepticism, and he has not shown any evidence to show why that skepticism would be the case. Well, I've shown tons of evidence of why it would be the other way around and why Minato would be stronger. Because again, if there is consistency within the narrative, then there you go. That's basically as simple as that. And there's also data books that also substantiate this consistency even further. There's that as well. But again, I don't really have to do that because he has not presented any lines of evidence to show why these scans would just not be the case. He just says, oh, I just disagree and they could be wrong, and that's not an argument. So basically that we can get here. And the other thing that he also claimed as well is that apparently like these characters like that they could be referring to like, I don't know, like certain versions of Minato. Again, that's just a baseless claim. The only thing that is said verbatim in these statements is they literally say Lord Fourth. It's actually a very common consistency, and they say the fourth Hokage, Lord Fourth, and then she even says if the fourth Hokage, they all keep saying the same thing. And Minato was known as for his status of either the Yellow Flash when he was joning and whatnot, and then when he's the fourth.
Okay, so yap a lot, bro.
And then when he was the fourth Hokage, he was known as Lord Fourth because again he's the fourth Hokage. So we actually would know what versions they're referring to when it comes to Minato because they're saying Lord Fourth, which is literally the Hokage. Same thing for the Raikage. Same thing for Anko. She literally says the fourth Hokage. She's not saying the Yellow Flash or joining Minato. So there's that as well. So again, I don't know where he's getting that from. He would have to provide something or show why. I'm not done. I'm not done. I'm not done. I'm not done. I'm not done.
Being fallacious. You're just committing a fallacious.
I'm not done. I'm not done.
My bad. Keep shotgunning.
Go
ahead.
I'm not done. Nobody's muting him either. Did we lose the moderator?
That's not me. I don't know.
Right. Ken start moderating, or I'm gonna do the moderation because we have people making noises and he just keeps on interrupting.
My bad. Everyone, stop using the soundboard. Respect Batman. Go ahead.
Okay. So, what's it called? So I'm just gonna get this debate going. Is there anything else that you have to say or anything, whatever? Or...
I mean, I think I've already responded to everything you said pretty sufficiently. I already told you that it's not my burden to provide substantial evidence.
Okay,
You're the
so
one that also claimed that I have to provide evidence, which I put in the question, which you didn't provide a reputation to, so it just wouldn't be the case if you caught.
Okay, so you're just repeating yourself. All right, so what's it called? We can get judgment, and that'll basically be that. Obviously, if that went through on my end, then basically I win the debate because Minato would just scale over the Sonning. So
over the Sonning, I have not gone over any scaling.
It wouldn't matter because Orochmaru is a Sonning.
I've not gone over any of the scaling. I put into question
and
which
Orochmaru is also.
I told you that it's a possibility.
It doesn't matter.
I told you there's a possibility that exists. Where it's referencing with
the multiple statements I provided, you didn't engage.
I told you, you're the one making the claim. You'd be the one burdened with providing that evidence.
Your part of the scaling. Pat, so are you done with your side of the scaling?
Yeah. I said my arguments. He said his arguments. What's it called? That's basically it. What's it called? It's just gonna continue to go circular. So,
if you're done with yours, then let's leave it. Because it sounds like you believe you've won. Then, let's go ahead and let Mortify get his side of the scaling in, so we can see how he scales it, and then I can give judgment later.
Okay.
Mortify, go ahead and give your scaling then.
I mean, I'm just going off the recording to be fair to you, but you can give it to people. That's fine.
we should at least get a judgment on the beginning portion of debate because again, if I successfully have Minato scaling, as like the fastest shinobi and all the other lines of statements and him being a superior shinobi, to everyone, and I've shown that line of consistency, and I've given argumentation for it, and all he said as a refuter is, oh, they could just be wrong, the statement, and he didn't do any whatever, blah blah. Like, so again, like, what's it called?
Why it's not?
If I got that over, then it's kind of, at least I would think, what's it called? The debate would be kind of like this. Like, that's why I asked him, like, does he have any scaling he wants to do? Does he have any feats? Does he have any like, again, I'm not gonna like argue for him, and he still didn't present anything. He still didn't give anything, whatever, and he was like, nope, that's what I had to do. So.
Oh no, I understand that you guys are the scaling, but you still have to let him get his scaling in. He was just not ready. He was just not heading to
Well, yeah, if he's willing to do that, then by all means. But again, before he said there's nothing he had to give or anything. So, and if that's the case, and that's it, and then with everything we discussed, and that would basically be it for the debate.
Do you have any scaling to give?
How autistic can we be? I obviously have scaling, okay?
Yeah.
Like,
no, I figured, so go ahead.
One. Okay, and for two, so we're just going to address the force scan, because I never had a chance to, because, you know, he's shocking the everyone the fuck out of me, because he's like tier 7. Right here is just, here is it in the Konoha Crush Shark fight, right? He says, I must prevent from raising the third no matter what. I don't see what this is an entailment of at all. It could just be the case that Hiruzen's going to have a harder time getting jumped by fucking 4 people rather than only 3. It's a simple line of reasoning to where, would you rather get beat up by 4 grown men or 3 grown men? If your life depended on it, you probably pick 3 grown men. Say you had to protect your wife and kids or something, or your family or loved ones, you probably pick 3 grown men. So if that's the case, then it would just be probabilistic that Hiruzen fucking doesn't want to get his ass jumped. So I don't see why that necessitates anything in regards to it mustn't be risen or some shit. That doesn't matter to me. But besides that, I could get into a second scale. Since this is all he has to scale his character, 4th gang words for me. So, hold on. My bad. Hold on. See, Alright, so the first scan, if people can help me out, this would be wonderful if I'm out to find them. Well, I think I might be able to grab some of them, but the first line scaling is Oro scales directly above Yamato as he admits he can't handle him alone. This is how you properly debate Batman. You don't shotgun people, you do it 1 point at a time.
So, what scan are you looking for?
I was trying to find it myself, but basically just Yamato admits that he can't fight Orochmaru on his own.
Which part is that? That's a war arc or?
No, that's like the whatever the fuck bridge it's called. Tanishi Bridge or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So, and if you don't have scans, that's not my problem.
I know what you're talking about. Oh, you found it?
No, well, I think I do.
I'll look anyway, but.
Here we go. I'm gonna send it in your scans. Right, you're gonna be looking at the top left panel where it says I can't take an Orochmaru. But if I call the others, it'll only put them at risk. Right. You aware of this area? Yes, you see it.
Okay, and what's, like, why are you showing the scan? How is this relevant to the other scans I provided?
They don't necessarily need to be correlative to your line of scaling. That's a claim in itself if you were to argue that it would have to be the case. So you're just going to question it, and I'll tell you that it doesn't. It's just a line of
I just asked a question. I'm asking why is this relevant, whether if it's your scaling or to my scans. Like, why are you showing me of Yamato saying he can't take Orochimaru?
It's self-evident that if I provide nothing but this, then the scaling goes nowhere, obviously. But I'm not like you, who's an idiot, shotgunning the shit out of people, so I'm doing it.
Okay, so ad hominems are not necessary. So
you also add on the shit out of me.
So I'm gonna. You initially started first, but anyways, what's it called? So I'm gonna just say it again. Why is this relevant for your scaling, or what is this in correlation to the scaling I already gave, of where that puts Minato at? He's not saying it. That's the problem. He keeps repeating himself and saying other things.
No, I just told you. Do you have a problem with the first line of scaling? Because it's 1 point at a time. I'm not a shotgunning mammoth. Oro scales directly above Yamato. He admits he can't handle him alone. Do you have a problem with that?
So you're arguing that Orochimaru is over Yamato? Is that what you're arguing?
That's the first point, yes. So, if you want to get semantical, we'll say it's probabilistic that this Orochimaru scales above Yamato, virtue of Yamato likely upholding a true belief. So, if you have a problem with it, you know, him actually being truthful here, then we can get into whether or not it's likely that he's telling the truth, or whether or not it's likely that he's adapting Orochimaru, or whatever interpretation you want to provide. But to me,
so with this scan with Yamato of him saying he cannot take like Orochimaru alone, like it really just depends, because technically he could fight Orochimaru within certain parameters and so on and so forth. It just ultimately really just depends. Context matters.
Why is that the case?
Yeah, there could be many reasons. If Orochimaru is just trying to like toy around with him, or if let's say they're trying to do like a team battle, whatever, there could be many situations of what can occur and so on and so forth.
Okay, so you shotgun me right now, but to address both of the points anyway. So for the first one, if Orochimaru is toying with him, that doesn't suggest any sort of lack of relativity or lack of being above somebody, right? You're literally just saying that the character isn't going all out or isn't taking it seriously. So that in itself is system. And to address the second point about it being a team battle, I also believe it's not going to be associated with what we should be probabilistic due to the statement's next part where it says, but if I call the others, it'll only put them at risk as well. So Yamato's believing that even if they fought him as a group, they still would get moved.
Yeah, so basically where I'm getting at, when he says that he can't take on like Orochimaru alone, like you're basically saying that that means like therefore like he just can't fight him no matter what alone, and that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. You could just think it's more advantageous for him to fight with comrades and to play more safe.
Is that it's
Kabuto is also there as well. It's not just Orochimaru.
That's the underlying.
And I wasn't done. I let you talk and you cut me off for the millionth time. So again, I would appreciate to not be cut off for the millionth time. So you're just basically advocating that like, oh, he can't take him on alone, whatever, blah, blah, because he said like, oh, I can't take Orochimaru alone. But if I call the others, I'll put them at risk as well. Like all this basically happening within the scan is that he's clearly conflicted and he's not really sure whether or not to have his comrades because they'll be in danger as well, or for him to like take Orochimaru like necessarily alone, like in like a fucking, like just for him to go at it. Like again, it depends on like certain parameters or whatever. This doesn't ultimately mean he can't just fight, take on Orochimaru alone. He could be able to fight him alone or whatever, or do certain things, because many characters have fought in Orochimaru alone. So, like, I don't understand.
Yeah, so we're not arguing that it's impossible. So we can accept your little possibility of he could fight him alone, though. And that's mere possibility.
Like Naruto fights him literally alone right after as well, by the way.
That doesn't matter. I'm saying that it's impossible. No fucking shit, it's impossible. That doesn't matter. My argument is whether or not this thing is or isn't possible. My argument is that it's probabilistic that Orochimaru scales outright above Yamato because of the statement.
Not with this scan. Not
it's likely to be true.
No, not with the scan.
Not necessarily. You saying that something isn't necessary is saying that it's not certain.
Yeah. So the reason.
Oh, shit,
so
what
I've given. So I've given
it probabilistic. So obviously it's not certain.
Yeah.
Oh,
so basically what Mortified is advocating for is because of Yamato saying he can't take on Orochimaru alone, or whatever. That therefore that has to mean Orochimaru scales over and whatever. And I said not necessarily.
No, it doesn't
be the case
have to
within
mean
this
anything.
one scan. And the reason why is because we've seen Orochimaru fight many people alone within Naruto. He literally fights Naruto the entire, like, fights him alone the whole time. When Naruto's using the QB and then goes Four Tails, so on and so forth. And again, I told him that there could be certain parameters of what this statement could be in correlation to, and he's clearly conflicted within the scan of whether or not if he should have his comrades to back him up, or for, you know, or whether if it's better for like him to take him on alone. Like there's clearly conflicting thoughts. Because he doesn't want to risk putting them at risk,
no, it's not,
and then he knows he'll be at risk of fighting Orochimaru alone as well.
That he can't do it alone, and he's also affirming to
that's
the reader
basically
that
all
I.
That's what I basically advocated. And again, you're cutting me off. What's it called? Like, so unless you want to like show more things or show other scans of why Orochimaru would be above Yamato, then go ahead. But again, this could mean.
I mean, we're going to. It's called a line of scaling. You just don't understand how to not shotgun, so I understand, right, how you're enabled to process this information, because it's not a shotgun. You can only process shotgun information.
I never said this was a shotgun. I don't think so.
No, I know it's not exactly. That's why you're having trouble understanding what the fuck I'm telling you.
No, I'm not having trouble understanding at all. I just don't think you're.
Anyway,
so
yeah, you're talking about how he's like questioning himself. Like, no, he's not. He's saying can't take on Orochimaru alone. He's not saying maybe I could. He's not questioning. He's saying can't, right? But if I call the others, I'll only put them at risk. He's not questioning whether or not it would be likely or unlikely that maybe as a group or maybe alone. No, he's saying I can't do it alone. And if I bring the group into it, it only brings them into danger. Which further suggests that he can't take them on alone. If he himself agrees to the notion, right, Yamato, that even with his group, that it's going to be troublesome, and that further bursts credence towards it being the case that he can't take on Orochimaru.
Yeah, so...
But even then, you're hyper-misrepresenting your claim as I'm not taking the stance
so
that,
Mortified just keeps repeating himself.
No, he can fight him alone and just lose. That's not the claim.
You could think that. So Mortified keeps repeating himself. He's not really engaging. So, and just to further also say this to dismantle like his initial claim of just Orochimaru being flat out above Yamato with just this one scan that he's showing. Yamato even says there on the right side, he says, even if Kabuto and I team up, Kabuto will notice right away from my battle style that I'm not Sasori. So clearly he's like on some type of mission to persuade and convey that he's Sasori for XYZ reasons, whatever, etc. And this is not necessarily like in correlation to like him just having like a dead-on battle against people or whatever, so on and so forth. He's clearly like trying to convince that he is Sasori, and like there's clearly other variables involved within this scan. So again, with the scan that he provided, like this doesn't necessarily mean that Orochimaru is over Yamato. Like you can think that that's perfectly fine, but within your own scan that you provided, he's clearly has confliction because of mentioning his comrades as well, and which one would be better or not, because he doesn't think he should go against Orochimaru alone, and he's not really sure to use his comrades because that could also put them at risk, because overall there's going to be risk in this situation. And again, with the whole thing where he talks about even if Kabuto was to team up or whatever, he'll realize my battle style is not of Sasori, and that would kind of negate the whole purpose of this mission, because with this mission he was trying to be Sasori in order to, you know, gain further intel, whatever, blah, 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 etc. So you would have to provide more scans or certain other things or whatever, so on and so forth, to convince me of why Orochimaru would be above Yamato. And as before as well, just to repeat, because you didn't really like engage or respond to that either, I don't see how this is relevant to all the scaling that I already presented with Minato, with the scans I provided before, and most importantly, like what is this even going with? Like, this is very stupid to talk about Yamato and Orochimaru.
Alright, so that's just an opinion. It's entirely subjective to say that something's stupid, so I don't really care for that. And in regards to you saying that I have to do something, once again, you're just subjugating yourself to a burden of fucking proof, not applying one to me. You're just giving it to yourself, saying, you have to do this. That's a fucking claim. But ignoring your stupidity, right? I was just going to send 2 more scans just to help you out, because I would have intended to send these scans anyway. In regards towards building more probability, since you asked me to sort of like convince you of it being likely, because I've already been arguing that it's likely from the beginning, and all you responded to was saying that there's a possibility where it's not the case, but saying that the possibility where it's not the case doesn't interact with an argument entailing probability. Now, to further build up this probability, we have Orochmaru, right? He's able to essentially likely blitz Yamato's perception to not, right? We see what happens right here with the 2 scans. So in regards to what you're saying with, it's only going to be
so he doesn't perception blitz. That's all. No, that's wrong. He doesn't perception blitz because he literally clearly sees.
Hey, you can believe it to be the case that it's wrong.
So I'm not done. So there is, so in your own scan that you provided, so in your own scan there's an exclamation mark. There's an exclamation mark, and he says he's been followed. He can clearly see Orochmaru.
I was not interrupt you. Now that I've given you
I was engaging with the first point that you made.
Oh, so you do understand how the base
I was engaging with the first point you made. You said he was perception blitz, and that's not the case.
Interesting. It's almost like points are supposed to be given one at a time, dumbass. You're not supposed to shop on everyone.
No, I was just refuting the easy point you made of the perception blitz.
I'm just refuting it though. Okay, hold on, right?
Like he can clearly see him. He says he's been followed, and there's exclamation marks.
Oh, question that belief. I've already questioned that belief. Please stop interrupting me, you fucking pedophile idiot.
So I could actually show you an example of like a perception blitz.
Okay, listen.
But I just want to put that out there. So go ahead.
That doesn't matter. That shit does not fucking matter.
If I hear it again, I'm going to ban you.
It's the wanker, dude. He's been doing it the whole time. Anyways. Wanker.
It's your server. Just ban him. What? I don't know him. I don't give a fuck.
No, because apparently you cried and made a rule that if I use any perms, and they're therefore evil. So.
Okay, Wanker.
Okay, that's server perms. That's not fucking. You have to ban someone for sending like pornography.
Either way, that's not relevant to the debate. So continue. I just wanted to refute that first point you made. So go ahead.
Okay, well, you upheld a belief that I put into question.
Oh, and also, just a reminder too, Orochimaru fought Naruto alone, like, several times, and on that bridge as well. So I just kind of want to, like, put that out there, just an FYI. So, characters can clearly fight Orochimaru alone. So that was in, like, correspondence with him saying that, like, he can't take him on alone. But anyways.
Okay, we got your shotgun set in order to finish up the scaling.
Yeah, you know, you can fit. That was something I forgot to mention before. That was in the coalitions of the first scan.
Master Batman.
Anyways, good. Continue.
Right ass judge. Oh my fucking goodness. Right. Anyways, okay. Right. So we could say that it's likely the case, if you don't like this semantical, like linguistic act of blitz, we could say it's likely the case that Orochimaru was able to outspeed these characters regardless of the circumstance. Because you try to argue that, with the first scan, the reason that he can't take them on alone or even as a team is merely because of his disguise as sorcery, right? But I'm showing you with empiricism, with what we literally can see and witness on the manga panels, is that Orochimaru actually is indicative of being at the scale that I suggested. Why? Because he's able to likely outspeed Yamato in the scans I showed. So if it's stated by Yamato himself that he believes he can't fight him alone, he also believes that even as a group they can't fight Orochimaru, and Orochimaru is capable of outperforming him. I think that builds credence towards what I'm saying. So it would likely be the case that Orochimaru scaled above Yamato.
Alright, we can move on. You're finally done with your, like, sped rant. So again, no, that doesn't prove anything you're showing. So the scan that you literally showed was literally Orochimaru appearing, and he says, interesting conversation, mind if I join? And Yamato literally sees him with the 2 exclamation marks, and he says he's been followed, so clearly he's not been perception blitzed or anything. This doesn't also show that Orochimaru is faster than him. All we see objectively here is that Orochimaru joins into the conversation, because that is what is literally announced within his own scan that he presented. And basically there's further dialogue with them and whatnot, and things, it seems like once you get to the bottom of the scan that things are going to start to escalate, because Yamato even takes a kunai, which also further contradicts the whole main point he tried to say before, that Yamato can't fight him alone and that Orochimaru is above him, etc., whatever, because this man's literally about to scrap with Orochimaru. So just kind of want to put that out there. But yeah, so do you have anything else more to fight?
Okay, no, so you're like a fucking idiot with a tracking issue. Once again, it's
ad hominems don't convince your arguments, so Hurry
the
up.
argument, it doesn't matter what they do, I'm still allowed to use them since you use them anyways, right? You saying that, well, it's not impossible, doesn't fucking matter to me, because I'm appealing to probability initially from the fucking beginning. Off the bat, I'm telling you it's likely to be the case, and I gave you my reasoning with the scans why it's likely to be the case. You saying that, well, there's a possibility that exists where it's just not, really doesn't matter to me, and it's not sufficient to be to an argument, okay? It just doesn't matter. We can absolutely pretty much move on from that. I believe I'm sufficing evidence to suggest that it's likely the case that Orochmaru scales into a fucking Yamato. But if I need to address his head assery one last time, all I need to say is that when he's talking about when this thing doesn't happen, that's his own burden once again. He's claiming that this thing didn't happen, so you have to prove that to be the case. But even besides this, just to entertain his interpretation, what we see here is he's saying, interesting conversation, mind if I join you? That's not all that he does as you claim that's all that he does, but rather it seems to me that his snakes that are from Orochimaru, not Kabuto, are able to like wrap around these people and outpace them as I argue. So Orochimaru is able to outpace these characters due to probability. So even if it's not an outright blitz, it really doesn't matter to me. That's fine. I can concede to the notion that it's not a blitz, but he's still able to outpace these characters, which builds credence towards my initial claim that it's likely the case that Orochimaru scales above Yamato.
Yeah. So again, that's not everything that he's claiming is not the case within his own scans that he showed. I've already explained it before. I'm not going to go circular with him for the millionth fucking time. And one last thing to also point out with the first scan that he sent, we even see Kabuto use his hand up, and he's using his medical ninjutsu, which is what he uses to attack. And so he was so he was standing next to Yamato. You can see he was in the Sasori outfit. So again, he's over here trying to advocate Orochimaru is blatantly above these people, whatever, yada yada, speed, whatever. Yeah, within the own scans that he shows, that does not show that to be the case at all. So I've already objectively pointed out what's occurring within these scans. I also applied, skepticism and so on and so forth for basically, literally, for the interpretation to be equal within what's going on within his first scan that he sent. And then I provide even additional evidence to where eventually Naruto fights Orochimaru alone as well. Right after that incident on the bridge too. So Ninja can clearly fight Orochimaru alone. I don't know what he was trying to get on.
That's not the claim.
There's multiple. I'm not done. There's multiple times where Ninja fight Orochimaru alone. So just want to kind of put that out there. But either way, with the scans that he's shown, he has not shown that Orochimaru is above Yamato, or so on and so forth. Because that's what he's been advocating, that Orochimaru is above Yamato. So,
yes.
So do you have anything else to say or do?
Of course I do. We're going to continue with my line of scaling. I can't believe that took so long for that stupid little point. Alright, so now that it's been established to the VC's perspective, Orochimaru is likely above fucking Yamato. What's it called? Now, hold up. Scans. So I talk about this first, or should I? Alright, now instead, I'll just talk about fucking the Kusumi Blade, why not? So are you aware that it's, let's see. Okay, wait a minute, I'm trying to question you should do it, so I don't want to stop it. Don't want a rabbit trail either. I want to keep it simple because you like to take 5 minutes per scan. What do I need it? Let's see, we got the Yamato shit, so I guess we'll do. Oh, I'm not even talking about speed right now. Actually, fuck it. I'll just keep it. In that case.
You already lost the speed thing with the scan I provided before, so.
That's an opinion that you uphold.
I
already put into question.
I literally posted the scan.
I put into question whether or not the characters you're referencing
the only refutation you gave was, they could just be wrong, and you didn't show any evidence of why they were wrong or contradiction, whatever. Your acid debating. So, but again, that's already been done. So you already lost the speed.
You are not
with the right Kage statement and all the other narrative statements from minutes ago. You lost that. So.
You ever fucking talking? You're old as shit. Can you please stop talking?
I'll talk when I want. So.
Oh no! I just talk. I listen a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Please shut the fuck up and fucking act. Please put your opponent off. Do you not believe in the Socratic method? You want to engage in a dialectic that's healthy? Mr. Cordial. You're just gonna fucking keep talking over me, Mr. fucking Cordial.
Of course, that's what you're good at. You did it the entire debate and eventually lost patience. So yeah.
You're not cordial for shit. Can you please shut up?
I've done it plenty of times actually. Just literally recordings.
Okay, anyway.
But you're retarded. And
yes, it's hard recording. So what I'm trying to tell you to address that really quick, it's a tracking issue on your end because I skepticized.
That wasn't Wanker. Ken, whoever like muted him, by the way. What's it called? No, I got you. I already timed to do that. Did the thing. So. And mortified. If I'm not engaging with you in a debate and you want to keep running your fucking filthy, disgusting mouth, I'm going to mute you. So like, if I'm clearly talking and I'm trying to like advocate because moderation is lacking at certain moments,
interrupting you.
I don't need you to continue fucking ranting. So no, you're not gonna do whatever. So, anyways, so now you can go. Go ahead. Now you can go. Be a good bitch and go.
Now, okay, now you can go. Be a good bitch and go.
Yes,
are you finished now?
Do what you're told.
Are you done?
Yes.
Are you done? Do you feel that you have the dominance?
Yes, I'm still waiting on you.
You're making yourself look like a fool.
Yes,
this
I'm
entire
still
recording.
still
so what I'm trying to tell you, yeah, I was trying to talk to you constantly.
Yeah, then do that, please. I don't need to hear anything else.
If I loud mic and pack the shit out of you, you're just gonna ban me because you don't have the fucking spiritual pressure.
I will not ban you. I don't give a fuck if you pack, mate. I agree with what Ken said. Continue with the debate, please.
No shit. Okay. Oh my God. I would be able to continue if we weren't compromising.
You are not continuing. You keep talking shit. Please go.
Okay. Can you just please shut up? The moment you stop speaking, I will continue with my scale.
I am allowed to talk. I am waiting.
I'm allowed to talk while you're talking, but I'm also going to simultaneously wait, which is counterintuitive to talking. But I'm going to somehow do both.
I just need one of you to get.
Well, I just need one of you. Can you tell your friend Batman to shut the fuck up because he's an idiot? I can't speak when he's speaking, Henrock.
I'm letting both of you currently talk. If you need me to start...
No, most of us talking. Just use the talking stick. You server mute me when he's talking for all I care. But when I talk, I need to be provided the same luxury. He needs to shut the fuck up.
No, I would server with both of you if I was able to, but I can't server you if he's above me. So I just need you guys to just be mature and just pay.
Wait, you can't mute me? You should be able to mute me, Ken.
I can mute him, but I can't mute you, so I'm not trying to do that.
Oh, that's gay.
It's not fair for the debate.
Okay, and bro, can we just... Oh my gosh. Anyway, right, so to address what Batman said about the previous line of scaling that he upholds the belief about winning...
Well, since you can't mute me, Ken, just tell me to be quiet if whenever...
Okay, there's the tracking issue.
I'll have to change that. But anyways, I'll go ahead, Modified.
Okay, so there's a tracking issue on your end with the scaling from the past.
I don't know why he said that. You can still say me somebody was above you.
Yeah, D1, like, I'm pretty sure you can mute me, D1, as well.
Yeah.
You can start anyone, like, if you have the perm. The thing is, they'll just be able to unmute themselves, that's all.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
Yeah, and I obviously wouldn't do that if he fucking muted, like, oh my god. Anyways, hurry up, you dumbass. Jesus Christ.
Well, it's your fault. Oh my goodness. Okay, anyways. So the tracking issue's on your end, right? Because I question whether when you said, oh, that would prove, if your scaling even fell through, which I don't believe it did, but even if it had fell through, I even further question that whether or not that those characters were even correlative to the character that I'm representing. Because I argued, right, that characters, and you didn't dispute this, that characters fluctuate in power progressively over time. And I argued that the characters in question, Minato or Orochmaru, and here's in all these people in question, are of different age groups and at different time periods, talking about characters in different time periods. And if we agree that it's at different time periods, and we agree that characters progressively get stronger, then how would you definitively substantiate that it is the case that Orochimaru, that I'm representing in this debate, is correlative to the one...
Bro, this man's good at rant jutsu, I'm not gonna lie. This man just rants. Hurry the fuck up. Oh my god.
It's not fucking rants, it's you just have a tracking issue.
Like, hurry up. What's your next scan that you want to show or scaling? I just responded
to what you said now to get into the next line of scaling. I wanted to address your history. I felt it was necessary. Okay. So I'm copying this. If anyone has the full scan of this, send it. I don't mind saying the full scan. Trust me, I'm just going to hide it. I just only have a crop of it. So this is from the data book. So we're going to get into that talk potency now because we've been doing. So the first part of AP is just outright above Yamato. That's all we need for now. Second part, though, so we're getting into enema scaling. It said he's an old monkey trusted by the Hokage. Many say he is the most powerful of all the creatures that can be summoned. So I believe it to be the case that Kishimoto wrote this, right? And if Kishimoto wrote this in the data book, I believe it's going to be given to us for substantial evidence, for supporting evidence towards things in the narrative like the manga. just to give us extra info, things like that. And then we agreed in the beginning of the debate, and it's also my belief, that these things are canon. So if Kishimoto is writing this, and he's saying that this thing is regarded to being the strongest summon, right, and it's Kishimoto, and not a character claim, and not his claim, rather just the author himself, then I believe it's going to be likely the case that this Monkey King indeed is the strongest summon in part 1. You have an issue with that?
Yeah, so that's wouldn't be the case, because if you actually read the scan, it says many say he is the most powerful of all the creatures that could be summoned, so clearly there's already subjective value, because in the statement itself, it's saying that many people think it could be the most powerful of all the creatures that that could be summoned. And most importantly, an actual direct contradiction to databook statements of actually not being the case as well is there's many databook statements that are stated that are clearly just hyperbolic and not actually hyperliteral. An example where it says that the MS can see all things in the universe and so on and so forth. If that was actually the case, and mind you, that's stated by Kishimoto, then they would have been able to see the aliens, Uzushuki, you name it, the whole fucking nine, whatever, blah, blah, you name it, and be aware of everything that fucking goes on. And or Tamari being fucking universal and things like there's tons of examples I can get into, or blatant contradictions. The Hebi Sasuke statement with the Akatsuki as well. So, like, data books can be correct, but they can also be incorrect. There's plenty of ways to show that if you need me to. But most importantly, his strongest summoning, actually, because it's actually shown with objective feats, was the Reaper Death Seal. That's actually what allowed Hiruzen to beat Orochimaru in the Edo Tensei, not the monkey. So this statement's actually incorrect, contradicted by feats. But anyways, continue.
How would that be incorrect and contradicted by feats? Your statement presupposes that the Reaper Death Seal falls under that of a creature, for one. And then for two, that also presupposes that just because it was utilized to defeat X character necessitates a greater strength in what you're referencing. Just because I decide to finish off my opponent with a slingshot, but previously I was beating his ass with a sledgehammer, you wouldn't just subjugate the fucking slingshot to being above the sledgehammer because I used it last to finish my opponent off. That's stupid as fuck.
Okay, so I think you just don't have brain cells. So literally what you're advocating for is that, again, there is subjective value within the statement, because it says many say he is the most powerful of all creatures that can be summoned. So it's already technically being put into question, because it's just based upon what people are thinking and so on and so forth. This could clearly not be the case. And I also don't interrupt me. I also gave the data books as an example to why data book statements can also not be correct. And the third thing I said to even show that this is not the case at all is Hiruzen's strongest summoning creature was actually the Reaper Death Seal, which allowed him to beat Orochimaru and Okage, while Enma was not able to beat him, whatever, so on and so forth. And if you actually, I'm not done, because I know you have like impatience and you can't wait.
You're repeating yourself, Batman.
And again, if you analyze the definition of creature, that's of an animal or distinct from a human being. It could be an animal or person, a fictional or imaginary being, typically a frightening one as well. That would definitely classify as the Reaper Death. It is literally a summoning that he has and a creature that he can utilize. So again, you're wrong.
No, that's just arguing.
You can think that. But anyways, what else do you have?
Holding this belief. No,
you can think that.
You didn't prove. No, I can think that. I definitely can think that. I do think that.
Yeah, you can think that. Yeah, that's fine. Objective feeds contradict that.
No, that's fine. No, you're just expressing your belief. You didn't provide an evidence to why it wouldn't be a creature.
I already said the evidence and the definition on Google. You can literally Google it.
Your belief. You just expressed
I provided the dictionary Google definition.
Google definition.
Yep.
If you want to send a Google definition, you can, but careful not to run into a definitive fallacy or a false dichotomy. But go ahead and look up a fucking definition with your dumb ass and think that's going to help you with something. Not only this, but even if it's the case that we consider this thing to be a creature, you're still presupposing that it's stronger, which is what the main thing in question is, Batman.
That's from Google.
Was used,
so I posted a dictionary definition, by the way.
Was used to ultimately defeat Orochimaru.
I don't care about your rant. I posted the dictionary definition. That's on Google. Just type. You can literally.
You're saying you don't care for what I have to say? That doesn't invalidate what I'm saying, dumbass. You're gonna listen like a little bitch. Put your listening cap on, Batman, because I'm beating the fucking shit out of you and I'm losing my fucking patience. So you need to just follow and track. It's not that fucking hard.
I've been tracking.
Okay.
Yeah,
I've been tracking. You've been tracking very horribly.
So I provided the definition that you asked for. You asked for the definition, so I provided that as well. and I already explained. I'm not going to go circle with you for the millionth time. And again, there are objective feats where Hiruzen uses the Reaper Death Seal, and that's what actually accomplishes W against Orochimaru and the Edo Tenseis. There you go, interrupting me again. There you go, interrupting me again. And there's no mute for Mortify. There's no mute for Mortify. Wow. But anyways, so then, and again, because with the statement that you said and what you're trying to argue is that it is the most powerful of all the creatures that can be summoned by the third Hokage. That's clearly not the case, because we see objective feats that contradict that with the Reaper Death Seal. Emma cannot defeat the Edos, and it cannot defeat Orochimaru. Orochimaru dealt with that perfectly fucking fine. So again, your statement is blatantly contradicted.
No, so it's not. I already provided an analogy, right, to interact with that and refute the shit out of it. I've assassinated your line of reasoning quite simply. I already told you. Just because you finish off your opponent with X weapon or technique or whatever it would be, that does not necessitate or even generate a likelihood towards it being superior to anything ever previously used. Because it could just be circumstantial or some hacked ability that allows you to interact with something that you couldn't successfully interact with previously. So if I beat the shit out of you with a sledgehammer, but I don't kill you, I leave you alive, and I finish you off with a slingshot with a silver bullet to the forehead, we wouldn't necessitate that silver bullet to the forehead in the slingshot to be stronger than the swing from the sledgehammer just because I used it to finish you off. Your argument presupposes that the Reaper Death Seal is stronger than Emma simply because it was utilized to ultimately defeat Orochimaru. Not only this, but your argument also presupposes that the Reaper Death Seal interacted with the Edos, which to my memory was not the case, as the Edos were already finished at that point in the fight.
Yeah, so red herring and false equivalences, and again, with the statement that you provided, it literally says verbatim, an old monkey trusted by the third Hokage. Many say he is the most powerful of all the creatures that can be summoned. And again, that is contradicted, you should know what that means, by objective feats of where Orochimaru gets defeated by the Reaper Death Seal, which is a creature that he can summon, guess what? A technique that he learned from the GOAT 4th Hokage Minato, who is also above Orochimaru. So again, that is blatantly contradicted. Emma cannot deal with the Edo Tensei and cannot beat Orochimaru either. Orochimaru dealt with that perfectly fine with his sword. So I don't want to hear it.
Idiot, you're repeating yourself.
So we can move on.
You're repeating yourself.
We can move on.
Repeating yourself.
Yep, because I have to go circle with a little too like here. So we can move on.
You're repeating yourself.
Yes, we can
You're
move on.
literally repeating yourself.
Yep, because you
we
don't
can
listen.
move on.
We can move on.
I'll make another point. I'll make another point. So isn't it the case that like the Reaper Death is a seal because it's called the Reaper Death Seal? So if it's a seal, then why is it a summon? It might not even be correlated to the analogy entirely. So even hold on. Why is it just because it's summoned? Why does it necessitate it being a summon?
Again, it's a creature, and I already provided the definition of a creature.
No, what I'm telling you is that even if I accepted your logic, which I have, and I've definitively refuted it, but hypothetically, even if I were to accept it, you still wouldn't be able to prove, right, that this thing is subjugated to the category you're trying to put it in. How do you know that it is a fucking creature? It could just be a seal.
Yeah, so again, I provided the definition of creature from Google, from the dictionary definition, and it is a summoning that he has at his disposal that he can utilize as a weapon as the third Hokage, and it is something that he can use that could be a creature. So again, that's basically that simple. So yeah, thank you for the equity, appreciate it. So yeah, I don't want to keep going back and forth on this. I think we've said plenty enough, so you can continue with the next thing you have.
Proven that the Reaper Death Seal is or isn't possibly not a fucking creature or summon, and you've not more importantly addressed that the Reaper Death Seal is not necessarily, as your claim would be entailing since you're the one arguing it, is above Enma, simply because Enma was not able to ultimately defeat Orochimaru, and the Reaper Seal was. I put that into question, so you can provide an evidence as to why it's necessarily the case, that because this thing was used to defeat this thing, it means that it has to be above thing previously used?
Yeah, I've already explained that to you. There's objective feats. So yeah, I think it's pretty logically simple. If object A is not able to beat someone, but object B is able to beat someone, then yes, I would say object B is a more powerful, creature or a summoning that could be used as a weapon in comparison to the other. So, and which would be a direct contradiction.
How do we know that that's for? No, you're I argue it could be a hack for some other circumstance. So how do you know that that situation is in a combination of circumstance and a hack's ability, and not a presupposed necessary physicality? Because you're just presupposing that it's necessarily physically stronger than Enma. Enma still could be stronger than the Reaper Death Seal, right? Even if the Reaper Death Seal is what's managed to finish off Orochimaru, you're presupposing that the Reaper Death Seal has better lifting strength, better AP, etc., and you don't know that to be the case.
So
you're just saying it fucking is because it could be a creature.
So I forgot. I guess you didn't read Naruto. So I can dumb it down for you a little bit further. So yes, the Reaper Death Seal would be more stronger and again objectively better than Enma, which is that he can use at his disposal to summon him. Because when he uses the Reaper, when he uses, and there you go, interrupt me again. When he uses the Reaper Death Seal, not only can Orochimaru not move, but he immediately gets subdued, and the Reaper Death Seal is able to defeat him to where he can no longer use his arms, and it also subdues and deals with his Edo Tensei. Again, something that Enma was not able to accomplish or do. Never did I argue of, oh, can the Reaper Death like punch harder than Enma or do some other than whatever. All I've been arguing and advocating for this whole time with the statement that you provided, because it says that Enma is the most powerful of all creatures that can be summoned from the third Hokage. I said no, and that is contradicted by objective feats because Enma was not able to beat Orochimaru and was not able to fucking defeat the Edos either. He had to use the Reaper Death Seal, which is a creature he can summon, okay, that he learned from the fourth Hokage that Orochimaru did not know about either. And that is what allows him to subdue Orochimaru, seal his arms, and also seal and get rid of the other Edo Tenseis. Which is why I would deem it as his most powerful of all creatures he can utilize, because it is very powerful hacks. And again, which is why Minato's the GOAT, because that was a technique he learned from Minato, which could also do the same to Orochimaru. So, again, if you don't have nothing new to say and you want to continue to go circular or say other retarded things, like, honestly, that's fine, but you're just wasting your time.
No, it's not going circular saying retarded things. I'm, like, assassinating all of your arguments one by fucking one. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, no, you're not.
So, once again, I definitely am. So, once again, right, your argument is presupposing two things. One, whether or not that the summon is actually a summon. It could be classified as a creature or some other thing. And I'll provide evidence for that right now. Also, as I've said, but I'll say it again since you're sped, your argument presupposes that this thing is physically superior to Enma. As my argument is that it's likely the case that Enma is the strongest summon. Not that he has the best hacks or is the most deadliest, but that he's physically the strongest. So your argument is just not interact with mine. It's definitely not defeated. So here we go. There's the evidence to suggest that this fucking thingy, right? He sacrificed his own life to the god of death and has sealed the soul of his sworn enemy in eternity. It's an extreme sealing technique that seals the eternity of the soul of the user's target, with the user's own life as a sacrifice. Once the fourth Hokage sealed the nine-tailed demon fox using this technique and lost his life. But now his third Hokage co-signed the secret technique, which even a shinobi like Orochimaru didn't know, to oblivion into perpetual darkness, and it probably won't come to light second time. So a strange-looking god of death appears. It's described as a strange-looking god of death. Dead white clothing. The only shinobi who invoked it can see curse marks appearing in god of death. So yeah, the way it's described here will just lead towards, at bare minimum, a possibility of where it's not a creature. Right? So if it's possibly the case that it's not a creature, then your argument wouldn't fall through towards it necessarily fucking being one.
There's food if you're hungry.
Like how stupid. And not only this, but that's not what's important. What's important is the main proposition that this thing is fucking physically superior to Enma. It defeating Orochimaru ultimately doesn't just demonstrate a physical superiority. I told you, it could just be circumstance, or it could just be hacks, or it could be both simultaneously. Orochimaru could have got hoed by plot, and it could have been hacks. Like, what if this thing just touches you and then you die, or whatever, or you start getting your soul pulled out? Those are possibilities. Like, the argument presupposes two things. You have a response. Not preset?
Yeah, so the Shigano, so it is a creature and it is a summoning that he could utilize. It's literally calling upon the power of the Shigami, and Orochimaru has to do hand signs in order to summon it for it to appear, and only him as the caster is actually able to see it as well. And I can provide verbatim statements for you as well if you need that, and references to when it's also been stated too. And again, this is something Orochimaru didn't know about. It's literally a Shigami, and it's calling upon literally from the data book that you showed in the scan, it's literally the god of death, so on and so forth. So it is something that he can summon, only he can see, and it is an entity, and it's using the power of a Shinigami. And again, I can provide a verbatim statement.
We're going circular shit. Like, even if I accepted that this thing is a creature, you still haven't sufficed why it's stronger than Enma.
I already did, and I'm not going circular with you.
No, I question that. You said that it finished off Orochimaru, and I brought up the example about a sledgehammer and a slingshot. Just because something is utilized to finish someone off, why does that generate a necessity towards it being fucking superior to the previous utilization of force?
I literally already explained that to you. Your tracking issues are not my problem. I've said that multiple times.
You just expressed your belief, and I put that into question. You didn't provide evidence or an elaboration.
What if at this point you both are literally arguing the same points, so you guys have anything else you can argue on this, or you have some other points?
I will send the scans that I said I was going to send, though. Even though he already said, like, even if I granted that, whatever, blah, but I'm still just going to show the scans, so why not?
Okay, that's fine. Then I think
being a creature? I think that's not the main point.
Debate and stuff.
Okay, well,
if you have any other points, no, go for it. I'm just saying, like, go to a different point.
Yeah. Okay, well, obviously, guys, obviously. So I'm grabbing another scan. Hold on. Get into the next line of scaling. So I believe I've established it's probabilistic that Enma is the strongest summon in terms of physicality in part 1. We're going to get some of the scans here. Alright, so first point, if this were to fall through, not presupposing that Batman agrees with this, I'm just saying if this were to fall through, which I believe it did, this would place Enma above the likes of all the Sonic summons because, well, they're summons. So to mean that Orochimaru has the AP, well, hold on, wait a minute. Yeah, that's all that matters. It would be above the summons. Hold on. Okay, yeah. So if it's the case that it's the strongest summon, you would agree that then it would also be above the Sonic summons because it's stronger than them in part 1?
No, I would not agree with that because we see Orochimaru used his blade and he's able to contest against the summoning.
Why does Orochimaru using his...
And if Orochimaru, if using a weapon and summoning tool that he can use, if he can deal with it, then yeah, I don't see why other Sonic could also, their summonings or their jutsus could not be able to work or deal with it or fight against it. So yeah. Like Tsunade, for crying out loud, she literally like grabbed Genbunto's big ass fucking sword and like slammed it on Orochimaru's snake. Yeah, like the Sonic are clearly capable of dealing with each other. There's actually, and I can provide that if you need it, but there's multiple statements of the Sonic being able to fight each other, be comparable, etc. You name it, and there's literally feats for that as well. So
what are we talking about? I'm not. Whoa! What are we talking about? I'm saying that if it's true. Not saying you agreed. I'm saying if it's true that Enma is above all the summons in part 1, if that premise is true, then it would follow other summons in part 1, being the Sonic summons, are below Enma.
Yeah, and I said no, and I disagree with that. And I already gave my reasoning.
Why? Okay, why? I cut out.
Because Orochimaru was able to summon his Kusanagi blade, a weapon that he can summon, and he was able to contest against Enma perfectly fine. And there's multiple statements, data books, and verbatim statements within the manga that the Sonic can fight against each other, and they're literally based practically like equal to it. They can give each other very hard fights.
Kusanagi blade strongest of the... Okay, well... Is the Kusanagi blade a creature? Because when we reference summon, what we've been doing the whole time,
it doesn't have to be a creature.
Because that's what you argued initially. You yourself,
you
yourself sent the definition of creature.
Yeah, so that's
We're talking about saying
right
that N was the strongest
creatures
in part 1.
So it doesn't have to be a creature, and the reason why is because you're basically advocating that any like the Sonic summonings or whatever, or like the tools that they can utilize and whatnot, like they're just not going to be like as powerful as Enma. And again, what's it called? They easily could be, because Orochimaru just summons literally a fucking blade that is able to contest against Enma, and he's able to do that perfectly fine. So yeah, with him summoning a snake or utilizing other jutsu, whatever, that could easily be able to contest against Emma or be able to fight against it. Just to say, oh, because it's stated and whatever, and then try to go along this claim and say that, oh, therefore Emma cannot be contested or dealt with from anything that, or like any fucking creatures. That's just stupid. That doesn't make any sense. We literally see Tsunade able to pick up
Okay, no,
sword.
your argument.
But I wasn't done. We've seen Tsunade be able to pick up Gunbunta's sword and use it as a weapon and slam it on the snake.
Shotgunning,
so
fuck.
That's just not indicative. So no, not necessarily would be the case.
So many say he is the most powerful of all the creatures that can be summoned. So your argument presupposes A, that the sword is a fucking creature. Please provide evidence for that. And B, that the sword can be summoned. Can you go ahead and suffice evidence?
So yeah, you're clearly not tracking, because I already said what I said for the sword. And 2, the first scan that you send, by the way, because you're changing your premise now, that was in correlation to the third Hokage. So it says that Old Monkey trusted by the third Hokage. Many say he is the most powerful of all the creatures that that can be summoned. And we already talked about all that. And I even brought like the Reaper Death, blah, blah, whatever, why that would not be the case, yada, yada, yada. And yeah, so like that's just, again, not the case whatsoever. But and then the Sannin, like they're able to summon things, and there's multiple statements verbatim in the manga where they are comparable to each other and can fight against each other, so on and so forth. And Orochimaru does that with just a fucking blade summoning.
Why am I getting perm abuse? What the hell? No, you prove that, bitch. Your argument presupposes that the sword is a creature, A, and it presupposes that it can be summoned. So prove both of them.
Oh, and that was another thing. I said it before. That was all like with this. Make sure nobody forgot. When you provided that statement, it said many say he is the most powerful of all the creatures that can be. So there's clearly subjective value with it. It's not saying that he is the most powerful of all creatures that can be summoned. It's saying many say that he is the most powerful of all the creatures that can be summoned. So there's that as well, which again, that was
okay. We already went over this. We already went over this. I agreed that there's a possibility that exists to where it's not true, but I gave you my reasoning as to why it's likely to be true.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. And you've been wanting to go circle on this bullshit for like the entire time and so on and so forth. So I think we can move on to the next thing. And this is...
You're trying to derail. No, we're not going to move on. You're trying to fucking derail because your argument entails 2 presuppositions that you can't suffice evidence for, dude.
I literally already explained it to you and said it as well.
I know, so you're aware, so you agree to it being the case that you can't suffice evidence?
But another thing, this is why, like...
Many say he is the most powerful of all the creatures that can be summoned.
Yeah,
so you brought up the Kusanagi
this
blade.
Is
who's the judge?
Fucking contradiction.
It's Ken. What's it called?
Contradiction.
This is why, like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, this is why this debate is being so long, and this is why this wasn't even completely necessary. Because if we just judge like the first beginning point of the scaling that I was initially.
I'm sorry to mute you back. I need you both to agree right now. You guys are okay with me judging and using my perms to get this debate going, because I was just accused of perm abusing, and I'm not okay with that.
Wait, perm abusing what?
Yeah, Mortified just accused me of perm abusing.
Because he's retarded, that's why. But
I know.
But we're really quick. Okay, no, you can mute him, mute this bitch. So I've been trying to say like one simple fucking thing.
So I should be muted? Fucking idiot.
No, I've been server muting both.
I've been a fucking retard. Anyways, his Judge Kenrock, pay attention. Put your listening hat on.
Oh my God! Now he's being hostile to the judge and the moderator.
I'm not perma-muting you.
I don't give a fuck.
He's been doing it to both of us, you fucking dick. He's been faster muting me than you as well. Like, stop crying.
I don't give a fuck.
Now, mute this bitch really quick so I can talk, or I'm gonna fucking mute this fucking dickhead.
Argument has 2 presuppositions in it. Your argument presupposes that the Kusanagi blade is a creature and a summon.
Mute this bitch. Well, I'm not going circle with you for the millionth fucking time. I don't care about your fucking essay rant. Can we mute him real quick so I can talk?
Insane rant. I will mute myself. Go ahead.
Wow. Holy shit. So this is why I really didn't want to go to this, because this debate is being like it's being way too fucking long than what he needed to do. With the first portion of the beginning of the fucking debate, with the scaling that I presented, if that went through and that was successful, like, he can't fucking contest it, because all the scaling that he's providing and doing whatever blah blah, None of it has had any fucking correlation to this fucking scaling that I was doing of Minato being the fastest and scaling above the fucking Sonning, narratively with the consistency, whatever you name it. Like, this is really fucking retarded. All this man's been doing the whole time is talking about whether if Yamato's below Orochimaru, talking about fucking Emma being the most strong, like, fucking, some, like, all this bullshit.
You're the one going on
and
that.
there we go. There we go.
Mute him,
Ironic.
There we go. No, apparently Ken's perm abusing when he's doing what he's supposed to fucking do. And then he wants to cry about it, so that's why he's not muting him anymore. So, again, like, this is all really fucking retarded, because I get why, like, you were saying, let him, like, do his scaling, even though he said on recording that he didn't have anything else to present, and I asked him multiple fucking times to either show his scaling, or contradictions, or any argumentation to show why my scaling doesn't go through, or make fucking sense, or whatever, blah, blah, and all he literally said as one fucking refutation is, oh, they could just be wrong. Even though that makes no fucking sense, because I provided tons of consistency and verbatim fucking statements of Minato being stated to be this and this and etc, whatever you name it. And it's been by multiple people, fucking Jonin, Sonning, Raikage, you name it, whatever. So, like, this is really fucking retarded. Like, this is a waste of fucking time. This man has not done any fucking scaling remotely to even contest the scaling that I had in the beginning. Like, I don't even know why this debate is continuing to go on. We're literally going on all these fucking side points that is completely irrelevant from Minato versus fucking Orochimaru. So, like, what I think we should do here.
You're going on.
So what I think what we should do here is I'm gonna end this recording for fucking now, and we can come back to this if necessary. But Ken, if you need to look over the recording again, by all means, do whatever you want to fucking do. But there's no point to push this forward if his scaling doesn't combat or beat the initial scaling that I had for Minato to be over Orochimaru. Like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, there's been plenty of times where fucking D1 or other people are providing their line of scaling, and if that scaling, there you go. Okay, so I'm gonna mute because you can be muted now. So, there's been many people that fucking debated, D1, other people, whatever you name it, to where if their fucking scaling went through and that was given upon judgment, okay, then that's it. There's no, like, fucking they can't, because literally he would just be stronger and faster with the fucking scans and statements I provided in the argumentation that I gave as well. Like, this is very, very fucking retarded. And all the scaling that he's provided has had nothing to do with the shit that I've been fucking presenting here. Or with the scaling that I had to why Minato would be above fucking Orochimaru. This is all fucking completely irrelevant things to the scaling that I had. And if he's just going to keep going this route, this debate is going to go on forever and ever of us fucking debating over stupid-ass bullshit.
Well, if he believes he managed... Because it's one of those things where if he believes he's stopped out your scaling, then he would need to give his reasoning as to why he believes his character to be higher.
Yeah, but he's not doing that.
Yeah, no, this is what I'm thinking. Make this easier. More if I go ahead and type out your scaling real fast, just to make this fast, and then give your line of reasoning. And then if Bass has any problem at any point throughout your line, then you guys just talk about that.
Alright, now I'm gonna mute myself, and you can say whatever the fuck, but, like, this shit needs to speed it up. Like, I'm sorry, but these debates shouldn't be this fucking long with fucking low tiers.
Time in our life, we all have.
Excuse me, am I audible? Right, no, so the judge is, like, clearly biased, and I don't even care because it's on recording.
What the fuck?
Oh, that's crazy. All right, now I'm ending the recording. I'm done. He's refuting to even show like his actual scaling and premises because we've literally asked for that. Yeah, you can shut the fuck up, bitch. We're literally asking for that. This way we can know whether or not if it is going to contest the scaling that I've given initially. Ken has been completely fucking equitable and providing plenty of unbiased, muting me, muting him, in my opinion, muting me faster than fucking him, and I haven't even bitched about it, said anything or whatever. He's been insulting the fucking judge and the moderator, calling him biased now is what it's saying. He's perm abusing when it's literally his fucking job to do what he's fucking supposed to do. This guy is fucking delusional and a fucking retard. You got slammed in this fucking debate. I'm going to end the recording. I'll even send it to Ken Rock. He can look at it even a little bit further, because knowing him, he'll probably still give you the benefit of the doubt and still look it over. Okay, even though this should be very fucking clear to the entire voice chat that you got fucking slammed. You're fucking retarded. And I don't give a fuck what you say now. Now you can fucking talk. Be a good bitch.
I'm not gonna lie.
Like,
I haven't been as fast to mute as I probably should have been because I've been watching some
so-
this whole